So, what is the world really going to look like in just a couple of years? Today, we're going to cut through all the hype and look at 15 key technologies that are truly shaping 2026. And look, this isn't just a random list. It's a story about how three huge forces are all coming together at once to basically redesign our world.
Right, let's get real for a second. Forget the flying cars and the sci-fi stuff. We're talking about real, tangible shifts that are already happening. How are you going to work? How are you going to connect with people? The answers to those questions are literally being written right now by the tech we're about to dive into.
And here's the key thing to get. None of this tech is happening in a vacuum. To really understand what's coming, you have to see it as three giant waves of change all hitting at the same time. We've got an AI revolution, a massive infrastructure upgrade, and this new era of super personal tech. And it all kicks off with that first wave, AI.
First up, the AI revolution is shifting into a whole new gear. I mean, we are flying past the point where AI is just some clever tool we use. It is quickly, and I mean quickly, becoming a partner, a creative collaborator, and, in some cases, an autonomous worker.
This is what people are starting to call generative AI 2.0. And you can think of it like this. The first version of Gen AI could, write an email for you. Cool. But Gen AI 2.0, it can read the entire sales report, analyze all the data, draft the email summarizing the key points, and then write the code for a brand new dashboard to track all those metrics. It's going from just making content to solving complex problems end to end.
The best way to understand this change is thinking about passive versus active AI. We're all used to an AI that just sits there waiting for us to tell it every single little thing to do. Well, agentic AI is totally different. You don't give it step-by-step instructions, you just give it a goal. It then figures out the steps on its own, does them, and even fixes mistakes along the way. It's really the difference between having a calculator and having an entire accountant on staff.
And this new reality is summed up perfectly by this idea that coding is slowly turning into supervising. I mean, we're seeing tools pop up that can take a single sentence and build an entire software project from it, so the developer's job is changing fast. It's becoming less about hammering out every line of code and way more about being the architect, the project manager, and the supervisor.
Now, when AI gets this powerful, a whole new world has to be built around it. So on one side, you have governments scrambling to create rules, like the EU's big AI Act. On the other, cybersecurity is getting a total facelift, using AI to spot and stop attacks before they even launch. And maybe the most mind-blowing part, we're starting to see multi-agent systems, literally teams of AIs working together to run entire complex workflows.
But here's the thing. All of this incredible AI doesn't run on magic. It runs on some serious hardware. And that brings us to our second huge wave of change, a massive, mostly invisible upgrade to the basic plumbing of our digital lives.
Just take a look at that number, 100 gigabits per second. While most of us are still just getting used to 5G being available everywhere, researchers are already hitting these absolutely wild speeds with experimental 6G. We are talking about a jump in connectivity so big, it's going to make today's internet feel like dial-up. It's the kind of speed you need for a world where everything is connected all the time.
So this big upgrade is happening on a few different levels. On the massive scale, you've got these colossal AI supercomputers being planned, like that rumored Stargate project. Then, on the tiniest scale, you've got edge computing, where processing power is moving into our devices themselves for instant results. And just over the horizon, you have quantum computing, which is finally starting to move out of the lab and into solving real-world industrial problems that were basically impossible before. Okay, so this explosion of data and computing power brings up a massive question. We're pretty good at encrypting data when it's just sitting on a server or when we're sending it somewhere. But what about when an app is actually using the data? How do you keep it safe and private in that moment?
The answer is a pretty amazing breakthrough called confidential computing. So instead of having to unencrypt data to work with it, all the processing happens inside this special secure hardware bubble called an enclave. The whole time, the data stays completely encrypted. What that means is, for the first time ever, we can process super sensitive data in the cloud without ever exposing it, not even to the company that owns the cloud. It is a gigantic leap for privacy.
Okay, so we've got this incredibly smart AI running on a totally supercharged digital backbone. What does that actually mean for you, for me, for our day-to-day? Well, this is our third and final wave, where all this massive, abstract tech becomes personal and starts to really reshape our lives. Just look at what's happening at work. For decades, if you needed a special piece of software, you had to get in line and wait for the IT department. But with the rise of these low-code and no-code platforms, pretty much anyone can be a developer. Your marketing team can build their own custom app for a campaign. The sales team can automate their entire process, all without writing a single line of code. It's a game changer. We're also seeing a much more realistic timeline for autonomous vehicles. We're not just going to wake up one day and have fully self-driving cars everywhere. It's a slow, steady progression. We already have stuff like lane assist. Next up is much better highway autopilot. And by 2026, you can expect to see things like monitored robotaxis and delivery shuttles becoming a totally normal sight, at least in certain cities. And our homes, our personal spaces, are getting so much smarter. We're talking smart mirrors that show you the news while you brush your teeth, super lightweight augmented reality glasses that put directions right in front of your eyes, smart beds that track your health patterns while you sleep. And VR and AR are way past just being for video games now. They're becoming critical tools for surgeons in training and for teams collaborating from across the world.
And this fusion of smarter technology goes way beyond just cool gadgets and convenience. The exact same AI and computing power that's going to run our smart homes is also about to transform some of the most fundamental industries we have, healthcare and food. So in biotech, for example, AI models are now discovering new medicines in a tiny fraction of the time it used to take. Research into our genes is letting us spot diseases way, way earlier. And out in the fields, precision farming is using data to grow more food with less waste. These aren't just small tweaks. They're huge breakthroughs that are only possible because of that powerful AI and new infrastructure we just talked about. So, as all this comes together, as AI truly becomes our teammate, as our digital infrastructure becomes intelligent, and as this tech weaves itself into the fabric of our lives, it leaves us with this one final massive question. In a world of autonomous agents and smart systems, what is our role? Where do we fit in? It's a question we're all going to be answering together as we head into 2026. Thanks for watching.